Tonight's episode is brought to you by Goodwood-Digby Distillery. Hard to pronounce, easy to drink. Find out more at goodwooddigby.com.
Just give the average Joe an insight of what's it like playing at this level.
Friday night's always been a personal favourite of mine. You've got the long weekend. Everyone's just wanting that release, that stimulation, just to watch a macabre sport of gladiatorial confrontation. And you feed off that as athletes. Like, you love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And Andrea, what's the Italian opera one? The
Fans of the Opera?
Botticelli. No, Botticelli. Botticelli. What fucking Nos and Doma.
Nos and Doma, yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, I don't get it. And she was like, are you crying? I'm like, you don't fucking understand.
When he scores that try to that music, it's just brilliant.
Music,
You can't help but cry.
Anything.
If that's how it is. Yeah. And you just get
The
excited.
Todd Kepi try, listen to that. It's anything. It's great.
Mate, Harry Wilson's tried today.
Harry Wilson's try today. Was it actually a try?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it was a try.
Because
Nathan watched the replay.
Like,
it was official. All right, should we do this?
Yeah,
no, I think that's what we're doing now.
It's not part of it.
This is
not part of it. Like, I just figured it
was
was because it cuts away like as fans, and then all the Fijians just lost their shit. Like, oh, go back.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened was his first struggle, he's held up. The second one, when he's like fights it, gets it to the ground, clear as day.
Actually,
The problem is, they show the first one and then have to cut back because at the same time Ben Donaldson's taking the kick.
Yeah, so they cut back after the first struggle and it didn't
What
look
happened to
like...
picture?
Well, I thought that was the thing. Yeah. No, he actually got it down. On a side note, hello everyone, welcome to the Dropped Kickoff. We're literally here just hanging at Bernie's bar in Newcastle. Tell what we're doing. We're literally just at the pub. Anyway, we'll continue here. But
we're here for Kink movie night.
Yeah, we're here for Kinky movie. There's actually a Kinky movie night here in the corner.
Kink movie night, not Kinky.
Kinky.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah. There's a difference. What's the difference, mate?
What is the
difference?
I assume
we should probably say
who's here?
Recurring guests.
We have so who we have here? We've got a bunch of us actually. We've got obviously me. We've got Mr. Nathan Williamson. We've got Mr. Hartman
my
here.
manager, Nathan.
Yeah, my manager, Nathan. It's the running gag. We've also got Dylan. He's back all the way from
Melbourne.
I made the trip up to Newcastle and actually get to meet the guys in person.
I know. That's actually our first time in person.
I've known these guys since 2018 and I've never actually met them in person.
You're kidding.
Yeah, this is how long we've been doing this fucking podcast, and that's how long. Yeah, and then of course the last man in question is the one and only Finn Morton, who returns increasingly occasional guest.
Oh, I think this is my second time, boys. So I don't know if you can call me reoccurring.
No, that counts as reoccurring.
You're on recurring.
That is quite literally the definition.
Okay, whatever helps you sleep at night. No, it's good to be here. Let's chat some code.
The issue is generally your price is too much. So
and you guys have the money now, so pay up.
Wait, you get paid?
You guys are getting paid.
In between, what is it? The We Are the Millers.
It's such a good movie.
To be clear, all our listeners, Finn is not Nush out.
But as you can tell, a game happened today, which is the Wallabies, which we should probably talk about. I mean,
And the Waratahs.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about the Waratahs.
What's more important, Nick?
I mean, we saved this one for you, so
Thank
you
you.
could.
Did
so
you?
you could. Yeah, we did actually.
Really?
We did. No, we didn't. We were so tired.
We should talk about the Wallabies then.
Let's talk about the Wallabies first, because I reckon it's nice to.
Can I say my first point? I think I have PTSD. I'm going to go to the doctor on Monday. I dead set things I have fucking PTSD from Sandians.
You're not listening to Britney Spears and Cher again, Nath? Or?
That was Taylor Swift.
Oh,
if you're going to slander me,
Is there a story here?
That's so much better.
That's a story for a better one. I was so stressed. I wanted to fucking throw my phone through the glass that was
in a professional manner, though.
In a professional manner, yeah.
Because they're covering it impartially, like Finn over here.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be
Very
friends.
partial. I'll never forget sitting next to Nath that game at the World Cup, and because I was born in New Zealand, so like part of me loved seeing the Aussies downfall. Except for when I saw this man's heart break, you could see it in his eyes.
I want to explain clear. That was the Wales game, by the way.
Is that like if you pause the exact moment, his heart breaks?
Yeah, it was like the Simpsons.
But it broke slowly over like 80 minutes.
Yeah. I just want to say, I never like seeing the Kiwis getting done by anyone. I go, they're there.
I do.
They're there. They're there. You know, whether it's hockey or rugby league or cricket or anything.
Go down.
Remember when Brendan McCullum got 200 against India in Wellington?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, but that's India.
But good on him, you know. And the Kiwis here.
That's different, though.
I was ready to talk
No
so much
time for
shit
us.
if France won on Saturday.
Oh,
I was going to talk so
shit.
much shit.
Can we just talk about that? Like the idea that France sent their B squad, their B team. Oh my god, it's so disrespectful.
It feels like such a like you're not going to win. If the All Blacks won, I was just thinking to myself, they're going to be like, oh well, it's only the French B team. And then if they lost, it's even worse.
It's a lose-lose situation, but I think there's parallels between that game and the game today in Newcastle, Wallabies Fiji, in the sense that
Thanks for bringing it back to the
Exactly.
That's why we brought him.
It's not bad for a guest, guys. No, but this game was treated like viewed by many as being a warm-up fixture for the Wallabies. I mean, Nath, there's this thing called the Lions Test Match Series coming up soon. British Irish Lions, they're in Australia, so yes, that's coming up. So
that team's got a lot of Australians and Kiwis and South Africans playing. Sorry, I'm not going to be that prick. It
has to be said though. No, but like that was brought up post-game. This Fiji game wasn't taken seriously by the Wallabies, and similar with the French.
Okay, I have a cope theory. And key is cope. I don't think you've understood
You got Coke.
That's the Melbourne.
Big night in Newcastle.
Yeah, that's Melbourne.
That's what happens when you leave Brunswick.
My cope theory is they're quite confident about trucking it up in the guts of the British and Irish Lions, and they're thinking the only way we can beat the Lions is by kicking the ball down the wings and going down wing play. And they played the Fijians like that's fucking stupid against the Fijians, right? All you do is a million faces up the guts and you beat them, and they're kicking it down. And I think this is the cope theory part. The Fijians know how to defend against that, and then that's why they were testing that out, and that's why they hired the Fijians, which, and I don't want to make fun of your employers, is very far-sighted.
Why are you making fun of Nathan?
Yeah, you can.
That's my cope theory.
He's sacred.
That's my cope theory as to why that game played the way out that it did. Is that or we're shit house?
I feel like that's a bit like. I mean, I was just thinking to myself how good Fiji's set piece is and how much it's come along the last
Definitely
couple
improved,
of years. Because I was just thinking to myself, look, I mean, the thing that we'd all been talking about in the last couple of episodes that we've been doing at like 1 a.m. when we're freaking cooked and exhausted, is that like we've been thinking that the Lions scrum is actually there to be had. And then I thought to myself, well, here's a good opportunity to get some miles on the thing. I mean, like, I reckon the Drew's scrum's come a long way, but Fiji's scrum was good. It was great. And the set piece was good.
The line-out was good today,
They played really good. And then there was a great point that Schmidt brought up, which was like, remember, at the World Cup, they lost to England by, was it like a point in the quarterfinal?
They were wearing some of the best away jerseys I've ever seen.
That was the red and black.
Is that the lightning bolt?
It was like the black and... would you call it red? Was that fluoro red?
Cherry.
Cherry. It was a good bit of kit. And Fiji went down swinging. So they very well could have been World Cup semi-finalists, and the Wallabies could have been watching them from back home in Australia. So
thanks, Finn.
But
how did that World Cup go for you?
I'm just here to enjoy my beers, guys.
one point that I think I've raised to a couple of people. You're a prick. I'm really cooking that. It's an insane thought, but it's true. The Wallabies won a game by making a mistake. Harry Potter going out all of a sudden saved their ass.
So because we were watching that, right? And we were close to where the try was scored. And we thought 100% they're going back for the clear obstruction. Because the guy runs across.
That's what I thought
it was. It was a clear obstruction. So we were like, okay, they'll disallow the try. It's clear obstruction, but they'll go back for the out as a... but they would have paid the advantage for it anyway, so it would have been a clear obstruction. What was the call?
Yeah.
Potter's foot was
Potter's foot was in touch.
That's wild.
Potter's foot was in touch, which is why I went back to the line out at the end. I actually thought to myself, because like Noah was on the ground in front of the Druid try line, and then all of a sudden we're down the other end and there's an obstruction call, Potter's foot is out and Noah is down. I was just like,
so the obstruction was called?
No obstruction was called. They played the foot in touch first because it happened before.
But we thought they went, okay, scored the try, went back, right, obstruction, so we can't call the try. Okay, what's next? Oh, his foot was out. They're going to get the ball back anyway. That's what we thought was happening.
I've got a mate in Melbourne, and
you're from Melbourne, are you?
Melbourne friend. And he's actually from Canberra. But he always says points for flair, and I really think rugby is missing points for flair. Like
a three-pointer type thing in basketball.
Well, just almost like, is it 50? Is it forward? Is it 50-50 call? You know what? That's a fucking sick try. Let's just award it. Let's let it be a spectator try.
Spectator try.
But then we get
just disregard the rules if it's
no,
fucking
but not
was
blatantly disregarding the rules. But like sometimes we go back and we look at just shit that.
Well, Fiji scored one of the tries of the year, and it's not a try.
Oh shit! Oh. Did you hear that?
That's that rain we're talking about now.
That's right. Yeah,
That's actually crazy. It was blue skies when I left the stadium 2 hours ago. So.
Really? Was it crazy grey?
No.
Nothing bad.
No, because I saw it was going to rain. We were talking about it was going to rain. I was telling about the Bombogenesis.
Look, in the event that it starts raining, we'll just go in the King tent.
Yeah.
There's actually a tent. There's actually a tent to our left, which is like a
weird noises and up from us.
Yeah, that's where the King movies are happening. Yeah.
Nathan.
So this flare try, I just want to make sure, because I've mentioned this in the pod, so I don't want my IP stolen, but I've said similar things. I remember Jorgo scored that try and it was a forward pass, but he chipped and kicked 50 metres, and I know fucking forward pass could come back. So we do need that. Aesthetics. I call it aesthetics.
Make it 1 point at least.
Yeah.
But even like if you go, it's a
golf clap.
I'm not talking. He's knocked it on and it's it's become fucking netball. But like is it a flat pass? It is. We're gonna review it to the inch of its life. Oh no, we're gonna call it back. That kills.
Dude, how many tries today was that exact same thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because I will say, being amongst Fiji fans may be one of the best things ever. They just love rugby.
It's a party.
They
are
just
understand
cheering
when they're swearing at you.
I swear at people all the time. But it was just they were happy. They're singing. They're whistling, and I'm just going, "This is great rugby to be around." They're so excited.
Fuck you, bloody bastard bitch.
Did someone say that to you today?
No, we're talking about the bloke that wouldn't move out of the seat.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! So I rock up and I'm looking for 3 seats, and I rocked up late, and there's no 3 seats. And I was like, I had to go to the woman, and I felt a bit sheepish. And you guys won't understand. Sorry, we're 3 media people. They don't understand it. They're in a little box with their own little laptops, and they don't understand us anyway. So
we get free meat pies and stuff.
All that gear. Treated like cattle.
We get to have beers.
That's true.
Yes,
by the way, I had to buy beers behind a guy in full All Blacks kit. I'm like, why? You're
What are you doing?
Australia-Fiji game. We're an All Blacks kit.
Tell you what, he wouldn't have been wearing it if France had won last night.
I should have said, they're wearing that.
If you don't like it, go home.
Yeah, they're wearing that because Japon is fucking sunning himself in the south of Spain. And anyway, so we had these, and so I had to go to the woman and go, is this my seats? And it's like, yeah, they're here. So I sat down, and I'm like, okay, there's only 1 seat, and there's some dude sitting in the seat that we've got. And I don't want to start that conversation, no one ever does.
No.
But anyway, Dylan rocks up about 2 minutes later with a beer. So the conversation's on.
Yeah.
And I just go, hey mate, you're sitting in that seat, I think. And he goes, all right. And he just got up. He got up, and then Dylan's holding up beers, walking up that little narrow, seat alleyway, and he starts walking towards Dylan, mate. And Dylan's like, "What are you doing,
mate? You got to move back."
Yeah,
I've got someone else behind me, walking behind me.
And then I was like, "Are there stairs that way?" And Dylan goes, "Yep." He goes, "All right." This random dude goes, "All right." Just turns around and goes out.
This is not weird.
NPC. This is like NPC.
Yeah. I got narrow in the knee kind
That's
of
just
gear.
Newcastle.
Oh my god.
Speaking of which, record crowd.
That's great.
Pretty good.
28 crowds.
Thank you. Thank you.
No one's spoken about this. It's the first win for the Wallabies in Newcastle ever.
Mate, yes, they have never won in Newcastle. It's true.
It's the last. Is it major city? I think that was the.
It's the only.
It's the only major city.
Would you call Christchurch?
Well, have they played in Geelong?
What's Geelong? Is that like a venereal infection?
So there's this gap. If you go southwest of Melbourne, there's this gap, and it's just sewage.
Are you from Melbourne?
Sewage.
It's just sewage called Werribee. And then you get to Geelong.
That's where my roommate's from. Shout out to you, Campbell.
Shout out, Campbell.
But yeah, no. This is the only place. I mean, like, eventually
Who
the
they
Wallabies
play
will go
in
to
Scotland?
Scotland.
Scotland and lost
like,
6
Scotland 09. It was
2012 in a
9-6.
fucking
It was
down.
it was
remember
9-6
that.
and
I remember
the
that.
two dudes clonked heads. And
That's
like,
right.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about this all day.
Yes, I remember that.
It was one of the it looks like one of the
so-
worst games ever
that's
played.
so Scottish.
Cyclonic
Yeah, it's
weather, similar to what's probably about to happen over us.
Bomb Genesis.
Yeah, and they lost, and Australia lost 6-9 to.
So they two games.
I think they played 3.
I lost it as a draw.
Wow, that's cool.
I think they played.
And then they drew with
love
Argentina.
I love the stadium. Like seeing the people sit on the green on the end of the stadium.
I
It had just a
wanted-
vibe.
But also, one of the best things, and just before I came here, I was looking through the photos of Getty, and the Wallabies been there lifting.
We don't have
that-
access to
Yeah,
Getty,
you
by the
don't,
way,
sorry.
podcast listeners. He works for World Rugby.
No, but these when the Wallabies were lifting the bowl, what's it called? The
Oh, the Vulavili? Well, yeah.
That was probably racist how you pronounce it.
No.
Wow.
No, it's a Vuvali Bowl. Vuvali Bowl. I checked the pronunciation.
But, like, they're lifting that, and they let on any fan who wanted to get on the ground could come down and basically stand behind them.
Yeah.
They fenced off the Wallabies so you couldn't touch them. You can reach them.
That's probably fair.
How many Wallabies have you touched, Finn? Have you touched them all?
With his words or his hands?
Like hands.
What, all 991 of them?
Have you stroked their shoulders?
He's touched all of them.
I am a professional.
Okay. I just don't know if
it's
it's like Pokemon cards. I've
Yeah,
stroked. Fuck.
stroke.
I really need James Slipper.
Do you stroke your Pokemon?
I do. Yes.
Alan Alatoa, I choose you.
I choose you. There was actually.
I choose the Melbourne. Oh, wow.
Why do people keep throwing Pokemon balls at Alan Alatoa?
Reece Hodge, I choose you.
Oh shit!
Too soon.
I know it's too soon, but I got them. I mean, he's here. It's free. It's free. It's fair.
Anyway, so we're talking about Finn's relationship before.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel like we moved past that.
It was like I was saying one of the rugby chats. I mean, someone was like, "Oh, gee, you'd hate to be a Reds supporter right now when the Reds were getting beaten."
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch the Rebels." And I was like, that's a fair comeback.
Actually,
But I don't get to watch the embarrassment of the Rebels losing.
Yeah, true.
something Mick Burt, the Fiji coach, mentioned post game. Did he say that they wanted Fiji to versus the Lions?
They wanted
was
Fiji to play. They wanted Fiji to play in Melbourne against the Lions as the fill-in for the Rebels getting.
That's
cut
when
out.
they ended up going with the Pacifica Indigenous
And
thing.
that's great because that's obviously a way to tie in those other nations and whatnot. But seeing the Flying Fijians versus the Lions in Melbourne at Marvel Stadium would have been pretty cool.
Well, you know, the
Fame
Fijians are the only team to never lose to the Lions.
That's right. They're the only, yeah, that's right. They played one match,
was it
and they beat them
25-21
25-21 in the 1970s.
1970s,
and it's the only team in all of world
Only
rugby.
country, sorry.
I'm sorry, if
only
Suva
only
plays in that
country.
community, they're getting cooked.
Yeah, only country in all of world rugby that has never the Lions have never beaten them.
Well,
Oh, Nick, you getting called?
Oh, that's my mum. I'll call her later. She'll forgive me.
Will she?
Yes, she will.
Are you actually recording, Nick? Or
Am I actually recording?
Have you just been told us you're recording?
Yeah, no, we're recording.
Okay,
It's only been
alright.
16 minutes.
Connor relief.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's,
We're now about to get wet.
you're about to get wet. Should we go inside?
Which is exactly what you want when you go to the game bar.
At Green and Gold Rugby, we love nothing more than celebrate a great Aussie success story. And Good Digby Distillery is one of the most exciting ones around. They're shaking things up, literally, by maturing their spirits in Aussie hardwood cubes instead of old school barrels. With infused flavours of ironbark, jarrah, even Tasmanian blackwood, that's about as uniquely Aussie as it gets. Not into malt? No worries. They've got a whole range, from Australian gins to grey gum vodka and even blackwood rum. No matter what you taste, there's something for everyone. Just head to goodredigby.com to place your order. And here's a special offer for Green and Gold Rugby fans. Use code GAGR20 at checkout for 20% off, or click the link in the episode description. Good Digby, that's good, dig, B. Hard to pronounce, real easy to drink. And remember, drink responsibly.
We're still recording now.
We're still inside, yeah.
We just moved to we're about to get fucking thunder.
Yeah, there's thunder and lightning, so we've just moved inside. So, All right, I reckon let's try and get some sort of focus and direction back into this podcast. No, this is how we roll.
Is that my beer?
That's yours.
That's your beer. Okay, you've got your beer. So, serious question though. Let's get serious for a minute. Are we ready to be serious?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, you're sitting on it.
Yep.
You're sitting on it.
He's a special guest.
Are we?
Accommodating.
Oh yeah, we got to accommodate special guests.
It's special.
So here, serious question though. Like, if you're a Wallabies fan or even like Joe Schmidt, how do you feel about that performance against Fiji in the context of?
So
I mean, now the Fiji game is out of the way.
Is that incorporating my Coke theory?
I mean, it could be.
Yes.
I think that with the win, you're happy. You're happy with the win.
Yes.
You are. I think, as Nick pointed out, there's some things that they tried.
Yes.
There's things that you probably would go, oh, I would have done that differently against Fiji, but I think it gave a really good sign. That was probably close to what we'll see in that first Lions test. You're not going to see Noah Lolosio.
That's a loss, isn't it? Like, seriously, that's pretty significant.
I mean, okay, I need to give you some context. Dylan is not a fan of Noah Lolosio.
There you go, all right? Maybe it's a great call in.
No, I'm not saying it's great he got injured. I'm just saying that.
No. We're different.
But I think that it was interesting to see, like, Jorgo and Potter on the wings. I think that was an interesting call when you think about all the talent we've got on the wings.
Philippe off the bench too.
He's had a cracker of a season.
Has, isn't it? Really come a long way as a centre.
He's so versatile. It's great.
I remember I saw him play when the Wallabies played Wales, and he almost beat Wales single-handed.
Dude, he was player of the
in Melbourne when he picked off that
But it was almost
in the second half.
Him going to Melbourne changed something. He found a new gear, and then he's come back to the Reds and just found a next level gear. Like, I'm so glad he didn't go overseas because, Suoli played great today.
Yeah, I mean, that bloody tackle.
Igatau was better.
Yeah, here's the funny thing about Suoli. He had 3 line break assists, but it felt like he did nothing.
But his tackling as well. He put a lot of those, when a lot of the other guys were getting bounced off or anything, he was sticking those tackles, and so he was great. But then to bring on Filippo, and he played great. Like, the centres, that tickles me pink. Like,
you don't just that's
and I can say that because Hunter Paisami's not in the squad.
He could still play the first test.
I think you're confident with you. You're happy with the win. Like, there's a bit of rust there. I'd be more happy with how they closed it out in the last 10 minutes because that was just and that's something which hasn't been seen in a long time.
To go back to my Cope theory, I think they were just kind of.
So what's the theory?
My Cope theory is, and Cope as in coping, is that they were like, we're just going to kick it around the edges, and let's see how that goes. And honestly, we don't care if we win or lose. We're just testing that. And they played against Fijians.
I'm sorry, they would definitely care if they won or lost. Imagine if you were about to play a line series and you lose. No disrespect to Fiji. No disrespect to Fiji.
It was a must-win.
It was a must-win. It's a must-win.
But their eyes are on British and Irish Lions.
But he's right. It was a must-win by trying something because they were doing things that a smart coach wouldn't do against Fiji. Like, if you're playing a series against Fiji, you wouldn't give away possession like that. The way that they play broken style rugby, it's just no. You wouldn't do that. But they did it, and I think Nick's right. They were testing something to see if it would work.
Because it was nuts. They kept fucking doing it, and it kept going nowhere. They didn't truck it up. It's not Joe Schmidt's style to do a million phases. And I'm just, why are they doing that? Because they know how to do the million phases. And remember I made that joke about the Reds, and I said they must be sick of his fucking bullshit because they're not keeping hold on the ball. And I think, this is my big theory, Finn, I don't know if you heard it, but I reckon he told Les Kiss, just tell McWright and Wilson, every ball they get, tip pass. Like, fuck holding on to the ball, because I need that plan B for the Lions. And it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Because, like Dylan's backed me up here. You would have just trucked it up like they did in the last 5 minutes. That's all you would have fucking done. Done a million phases.
They played to verse the Lions. Changed their game style. They prepared for the Lions, and they had to. If they prepared for Fiji, and then obviously they've got 13 days now until the first test. Yeah. But that's still you're still going to have to change things completely.
Yes, that's right.
And that's why I guess Fiji as a warm-up game is a bit of a risk.
It's a bit of a weird one, right?
It's because
when you play Georgia or something.
I'm glad they played Fiji. This firstly tells me that Fiji are going to actually kill it in the Pacific Nations Cup. I reckon they're coming along so bloody good.
Are they in there?
I reckon they're going to win it.
You reckon they're going to win the Nations League?
No, Pacific Nations Cup.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm not talking.
Sorry, you're from PNC. Sorry.
No. I'm talking PNC.
Yeah, okay.
I'm talking PNC. I'm not. I mean, like, I'll be a little bit competitive, but are they going to win it? They're an outside chance. I'm sorry. Like, there's a lot of good teams in there, but I mean, like, when they won it last year and smashed Japan and all that, I just realised, holy hell, this is a really good side that's developing over the last few years. First of all, under Simon Raului and then Mick by extension continuing on. He's like, I was talking to Beta in the captaincy thing. He was like, yeah, like we just want to play for this guy. Like we genuinely believe and want to play for this guy. But anyway, it's I reckon they're going to go so good when Pacific Nations Cup comes around.
Look, but I think just to kind of like have my 2 cents from a Wallabies point of view.
That's for you. That one's for you. Yeah, boys. Cheers. Another round. Another round.
If you haven't had him for a couple of minutes, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, Nathan was getting.
Anyway, I don't know what Finn thinks of my Coke theory, and I'm saying Coke theory.
You already asked him.
What do you think? Coke
theory. Sorry, what's the theory?
Come on, Finn.
I do just want to say, I think from a
we don't like smartasses on the pod, no, seriously. Yeah, fucking Kiwis derailing a pod.
I'm not coming back.
Leave the human to Taika Waititi, alright?
No, but I think from a Wallabies point of view, 10 minutes to go, you know, you're obviously going, oh, shit, I just hope we jag this. And that's what they did. So in a sense, you're relieved. I don't think you're happy though.
No.
But can you imagine the world we would be living in as rugby fans if the Wallabies had lost that test? And we're looking ahead to the Lions series in 2 weeks.
Shoot myself in the head.
No, but how less appetising is that from a neutral point of view? Like this Lions series, as you know, we all love rugby obviously. Like it's such a good opportunity to try and introduce new fans to the game.
Yeah.
Hopefully, right? Just as the World Cup is in 2 years. But fans aren't going to be interested if the Wallabies are losing to Fiji, let alone versing the best of up north.
I mean, you say that though. You look at the State of Origin series between New South Wales and Queensland. New South Wales got such a better team than Queensland.
Yeah, but they lost the
more of a team. Yeah. But given refereeing decisions, but I'm just saying, like, it's still at the end of the day, it's still a fucking contest.
Yeah, but I feel
and the Wallabies are still there.
I reckon there's a lot of intel and stuff going on.
But I mean, to my point. The one thing I've seen about the Lions teams, their wingers got the turning circle for P&O cruiser. Like they are just so like Van der Merwe.
That's fantastic.
Van der Merwe. It's not my say. But Van der Merwe is like he is huge.
Yeah.
Like Lockie Anderson tackled him and had to do a full wrap, and it was like a.
He dropped Joe Bryle. Like, that was crazy. When Joe Bryle in front, he just dropped.
Lockie Anderson would have to be the tallest winger in Australian rugby, right?
Yeah. But like,
I feel like we mentioned this. It's like probably you two. I was like, we had a moment where we were watching the two teams training up at Suncorp, and we were like, is it just me? Or have you noticed how big the Lions are compared to the Reds?
They're fucking huge.
They're huge. I mean, like Luke.
The Mario Itoji's bigger than
Jesus,
anything.
huge. But I mean, like.
Galacticus.
More importantly, they've been figured out. The Waratahs figured out.
Yeah, I was about to say we're going to do a segue.
Okay.
We're going to do a segue.
I'm in my element.
We need to do a segue and talk about the second.
I'm joking. Yeah, the Waratahs game. Okay. Hot take. The Waratahs had good D, but they were shit house like they've been for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's probably
no
fair.
Scrum. No doubt, no attack.
They were up against an international style.
Yeah, but still, they were shit outs like they've been all year.
But Jack Barrett coming off the bench, right? Like he's played one Super Rugby game, I think, ever.
But yeah,
had a mullet, which was great.
Which Barrett? Which Barrett are you talking about?
Jack Barrett. He's like the Dean Moore of the Barrett family.
She adopted one.
Well, what about just the Kiwi Barretts? But what about Kane? You guys know about Kane? Kane Barrett?
No.
Plays for the Blues.
So there's a fourth Barrett brother.
I think there's a fourth. He played lock for the Blues.
My mind is blown.
Never got to the All Blacks.
Do you know who Dean Moore is? No. So Steve Moore and Mark Moore had another brother, Dean Moore.
Yeah. Oh, it's another one. So it's basically the Dean War. It's the Dean War of New Zealand rugby.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But no,
overachieving fan.
And his nickname was Korea because he was a forgotten war.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's great.
That is so good.
But I think like with the Tars,
Let's talk Tars.
Professional.
Look, 21-10. If you had said that to not only the playing group but the maddest Tars fan out there, if you said, "Hey, you're going to lose by 11 to the Lions," you would have gone, "I'd take that every day of the week."
We were in the bowels of Suncorp and we were like, "This is going to be a straight up flogging. There is going to be no enjoyment in this." And what a match it was!
If you told me it was 21-10 at half time, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah, I'm taking. Yeah, that's right.
There's a
What was the score at half time?
21-10 at full time.
No, at half time it was 14-5.
Yeah, it was quite close. There was like less than 10.
Like, because then they scored after the break to make it 14-10, and everyone's like, wait.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
The front half scored.
this is what we think
That's
is about
right.
to happen.
But I think the exciting thing about that team, though, guys, is like some younger players really stepping up. That's a good opportunity for them. Teddy Wilson, I thought, was pretty
Well,
solid.
Wilson's fucking. When he was playing for Gordon, it was fucking.
But the thing about Wilson that surprises me is not re-signing with the Tars. I would have thought there's an opportunity of sorts, at least at the Force. I know Nick White's re-signed as well, but you'd have to think that Wilson's a better chance at overtaking Nick White than he is Jake Gordon.
Also, he's definitely a better chance of overtaking.
No,
that's also
Jake Gordon's got to go. Like Joe Schmidt told him, stay.
He's re-signed until 27.
Yeah, but still.
Isn't he the next Wallabies captain?
How old's Gordon? 31.
Depends who you ask. If you ask Jake Gordon, it's 20. So, fun fact, Jake Gordon.
If you ask him how old he is.
Jake Gordon.
Nathan knows Jake Gordon.
I work at Rugby Australia. I actually woke up to Waratahs press conference. So, Jake Gordon, his age is one of the funniest sagas because every time in a press conference, he'll just say a different age.
That's pretty funny.
No,
I think he's changed his own Wikipedia page. So he's younger.
That's hot.
Crash on.
Like,
You know,
dude,
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Nick for a running gag. Yeah. For Jake Gordon for a running gag.
it's so funny that like a professional player goes on Wikipedia.
Even then, Teddy
makes
Wilson's
him-
18. So, right? 18?
But like I can
22.
see Teddy Wilson
Yeah.
overtaking Isaac
He's
Fine's
22.
at the Force, but
It's like Lawson Crichton. People talk about Lawson Crichton like
second
he's
fiddle at the
23. I'm
Force,
like,
no.
right.
He's
Well, I mean,
28.
White's only
He's like
he's only
29.
for an extra year.
Yeah.
There's not much.
Teddy's only re-signed with the Tars for a year.
Yeah, the reality is at the Tars, like this is like Tars heritage. Like Jake Gordon did that behind Nick Phibbs for like 3 or 4 years, and then started.
Yeah.
Like there's history there.
Fancy that.
But I think that it speaks like to a larger problem that we have in Australian rugby, where our gap is at not like our gaps are 9 and 10. And like I'll be honest, like you notice the difference in that Reds game against the Lions without Tate and Liner. Like Campbell said after that game, where he was, he's like, "Oh yeah, we really want to play up tempo rugby," and fuck me, Canham going in at 9 and doing that pick, and then they went around for Tumunga Allen's try. That was all forwards. Kalani Thomas was way too slow. He was way too slow, whereas Tate is so quick. And we
he knows how to
just don't
snipe
have.
as well.
We don't have at Wallabies quality. We don't have backups. And Nick and I were talking about. There's so many positions now. I'm like really excited to see. We've got depth. We've been building depth. 9 and 10.
But 9 and 10 is when you need game time at club level.
Yeah.
Like to build that confidence, basically. And to have the experience of making wrong decisions. But you don't get that because you got 14 games against fucking the junior All Blacks. For half of it. Like, you can't fucking do it.
I like that you pointed at me there when you said junior All Blacks. Like, no, but okay. So
he doesn't understand the animus, everyone. Like, no one's doing an Australian podcast about us flogging the Kiwis in fucking New Zealand, are we? Because no one cares. Here we are.
Well, then, you know, if I become overlord of Australian rugby and I cripple New Zealand economically, like, you know,
you're on the track.
I love that there's one Kiwi on the pod and we've immediately just gone hammer and Tom on the poor bloke.
because socialism doesn't work.
He agreed to come out for a drink with us tonight and immediately you're flogging the poor bastard.
We put a phone in front of him and said, "Talk monkey."
Talk monkey.
Nathan has a gun. And Nathan has a 3D printed gun.
3D printed.
Let's be honest, at least Kiwis can laugh at themselves. If we'd lost to Fiji,
No.
I reckon it's a
The All Blacks have lost to France last night. I don't know.
But hey,
Really? Would you have been?
Well, like to be fair, like
Because France is a pretty good fucking team.
I'm pretty impartial now, genuinely nowadays. Like, but my old man, if I was watching it with my dad, he would have been terrible.
Yeah, right.
Like, he's the type of dude where, like, the day after the World Cup final, he came up to me and went, Finn, let's talk about the ref. And I went, Dad, can we just enjoy being in Paris? Like, you know, like,
I'm glad that he said that to you. It's like, Finn, I can't do it anymore.
Nothing
What do you mean?
Let's go for a rugby chat, then let's talk about the ref. But I reckon...
Can we talk about France? We're not going to talk about France.
We're already talking about France. I was going to say...
I want to talk about him again.
I want to keep drinking. So what I was going to say was, let's finish off by saying I actually reckon the Tars did something really, really smart in their game. As the key thing that really stood out for me for the Force and the Reds game was that the Force and the Reds gave the Lions way too much space. Like, too much space for the counter-attack, too much space for offloads, too much space for everything. And so was it Lockie McCaffrey who noticed this, all of this space that the sides have been giving, and basically said, we're going to come up with a plan to shut them down. Basically, find a way to not even allow the offload, allow just a way to just suffocate that actual space for the Lions. And I think it worked a treat. Because the Lions did not play well.
I'm going to throw some back
Charlie
at you.
Gamble was fucking amazing.
The Lions did not play well against the Waratahs.
Hang on, some through the line. Is Lucky McCaffrey different David...
Discount David
Discount
David Pocock from Timu.
As someone looking like Lockie McCaffrey right now.
You look like Lockie McCaffrey.
Well, if I shave my beard, I look like David Pocock.
And you don't do the weird fucking...
Senator.
You don't do the crawls on the creek bed, do you?
If I look like David Pocock with my shirt off,
Have you guys seen that video? It's like his morning routine.
Yeah. Mate, I've seen all
doing like commando crawls on the riverbed.
I watch them daily.
Wild.
is this when he was playing? Like,
This is so he's politician. He still does it.
Senator. Yeah, okay.
that's more
There's a
like
great photo of David Pocock. They did like a touch rugby game, and there's him and Albo next to each other. Albo's just like, fuck, I'm about to get crushed by David Pocock. Pocock still looks like I could play for the Wallabies tomorrow.
He does that way.
Yeah.
What's Richie McCaw doing? Or, do you reckon David Pocock's like, I've been fucking bested by Richie McCaw all my years?
because Richie McCaw's going to be the next Prime Minister of New Zealand.
Richie is a helicopter pilot.
I knew that.
And like once a year he does coast to coast in New Zealand, which is like a 1 to 2 day event where you go from one coast to the other.
In a helicopter?
It slows your fucking helicopter.
Dude, why does it take 2 days? No, but like it's like running kayaking, I think.
Right.
But he's built.
But what's his job?
I mean,
He's a helicopter pilot.
It took Frodo 12 hours.
Really? Wait, what do you mean?
He flies
Not for the army.
No, like
Because the army probably only has 4
let's go
helicopters.
on a tour around the.
Oh, okay. So if I do a Christchurch tour, it must be Richie.
No, because I looked into it last year. I was in Christchurch for Christmas, and I thought, what am I going to get my old man? Helicopter.
Yeah.
The only logical answer is a helicopter trip with Richie McCaw. I looked into it and
Yeah, go for it.
I looked into it and Richie knows his value. Let's put it that way. You know, like, and I love my dad, but not that much.
World Rugby doesn't
But
pay.
I mean, isn't it funny that you're getting flown in a helicopter by this guy who was good at rugby?
Yeah.
And you can't talk to this guy the whole way because he's fucking flying the helicopter, and you get off and you land, and you're like, So Richie, how are you feeling before the World Cup final 2011? Like, hang on a minute, they're filling up.
How do you feel about Quade Cooper after all these years?
Hey, by the way, I'm a journalist. I want to ask you some serious questions.
Yeah, serious questions.
And I paid for this.
Is it not so fitting that it's a helicopter and you have to answer from the side?
Oh, I'm sorry, Finn.
Thank you.
Play on.
You play on.
Here all day.
But I will finish this. Let's finish off this pod because we need to keep drinking. I will say, this is the work. We're at work, guys. We're very serious people. So next time the Lions will be playing, they'll be playing the Brumbies, and next time the Waratahs will be playing, they'll be playing Lions. Wallabies. Wallabies. Yes.
What?
Wallaby. Next time the Wallabies will be playing, we'll be playing the Lions. Where do we think these two sides are sitting right now? I mean, and the key question I asked about that is, the general consensus has been, the discourse has been pretty general, but Lions are favourites to win this series. Do we think that is more enhanced now after if you're a Lions fan, are you feeling more hesitant after that Waratahs performance where the Waratahs have played quite well and have really kind of identified a couple of key issues, addressed them, shut them down? Or if you're a Wallabies fan, are you kind of feeling like, okay, well, we overcame a pretty decent Fijian side, but a lot of questions and issues came up?
All right, I got quick answers for you.
Yes.
Brumbies will lose greater margin than the Waratahs, but still close. like not blowout.
I'd agree with that.
Second is...
You disagree? We'll get to you.
Second is, after watching that game, I don't think the Wallabies have it. Because I expected them to go up the guts and just do a tryout of that. But they didn't fucking do it. They won by, 4 points? Three, yeah.
28.
So, no.
21-18.
So, yes, and I feel worse about the Wallabies.
Okay.
I don't think the Brumbies are going to win because I think that the Brumbies' firepower has just played in part of the Wallabies, but it won't be a blowout. And I don't think that's going to be... I think there's going to be some questions around certain players in that squad that'll change, that I think the Wallabies have the capability to win. Joe Schmidt just needs to start, maybe look at some different players in certain spots.
So say no.
No.
I'm
actually, honestly, the fucking Queensland the locks and back row, like Canham, Salakai Loto, Smith, Ryan, why are they not in there? And I love the law firm of Frost and Williams, but sorry, Tom Hooper's not a second rower. I know he's. Sorry, it's just a guy.
Take a moment to appreciate it.
I said it to Nick Pop.
Traffic law firm.
The law
get you
firm
out of
Frost
your
and Williams.
speeding ticket.
But
All the way from Brunswick.
but like Salakai Loto,
Hooper's not a second
fronted
rower.
up. No, he's not. He fronted up. Canham fronted up.
Yeah.
And when you look at, like, I know everyone was really proud of Swain, but like Angus Blythe plays with cunt about him.
Yeah, he does.
Well,
He's a good guy.
But
not
isn't
a grub.
But
Well,
isn't a cunt.
Ryan Smith plays with cunt. Well, and
It's an important distinction.
I've never heard that as a description.
because Darcy Swain plays like a cunt badly.
Yes.
Ask Quinn Tupaia.
It's the key. It falls into the key abbreviation.
Swinton, full cunt. Swinton,
Yeah, I reckon.
cunt
So here's
down.
what I think. Johnny Hill, I realise, is actually a good cunt because he plays with
A little bit of
biggest
cunt.
bit of buzz.
And I do think we didn't have. And I like Laney Gleeson. I think Valentine's better.
Yes.
Yeah, he did his hamstring.
Yeah. So, but if he's good for that test, then you're going to say that there's a bit of a difference because the back row for whatever Lions back row he picks is going to be lethal. And we were pretty passive at the breakdown today.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that we have to change that, and I think we will change it.
I mean, that breakdown is wild because I think the one thing about the Waratahs game was the breakdown.
Oh, Charlie Gamble cooked.
Charlie Gamble.
And then you watch that.
Because he's a psychopath, right?
He's
Yeah,
a psychopath.
I
He's little.
You're the ding boy.
I know the.
Psychopath.
And the Green and Gold Rugby Forum, they call him the Unibomber because he's a psychopath and he has that moustache.
Jesus Christ. Can we just? I want to pivot over to Finn because Finn said he disagrees.
Can we talk about? Can we talk about the breakdown?
No, I want to hear
His mustache.
Nathan and I spoke to him last night, and I am standing there kind of going, I could never grow that. You know, I felt inferior, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the top lip.
Yeah, like
It's a bit blonde, which always hurts.
it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's not as bold, but you can do it.
Maybe
you
I'll
can do
diet or something. Yeah.
Oh, do that, yeah.
it. Yeah, go to Turkey and it'll come back.
Was that my
Yeah, you need to.
No, I think. Okay, to go back to my disagreement. The Brumbies, I think. I'm expecting the Lions to name a four-strength side.
Yeah.
And if they do, they're versing a depleted Brumbies team, which obviously doesn't have Nora at 10, doesn't have Tate Edmund at 10 yet, and
Good saviour. Maybe you'll rock up.
and obviously Declan Meredith was fantastic in Super Rugby this year, but it's just amongst other things. No Tom Hooper, various things.
Well, basically no front row.
No
Pollard, no Alatala,
No front row, no Hooper, no Valentini.
no Frost,
quite
no
literally
Valentini.
A second string. Every single position is a second string front row.
Exactly.
They're going to name a full strength front row. That scrum is getting corpse.
Well, if they don't, if this B
We
level
got Reece
front
Van
row,
Neck with his no neck.
Reece Van Neck, Photoaker, and like Noss Lanigan,
Yeah,
who was
but-
playing flanker for fucking
but
Lions.
if they do a number on the Lions for whatever reason, damn, like that's
Yeah.
a talking point, no? Like,
100%.
because it's been an issue up until this point, but But anyway, I think the Wallabies, like I said, if you're a fan, you're relieved. you're not happy. I think for the most part, like there's definitely.
That was insane.
Yeah, it was entertaining, but like, are you happy looking into the Lions series going, this Wallabies team can challenge?
This is New Zealand Russell Crowe versus Australian Russell Crowe. Like, are you not entertained?
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm going to throw phones at cunts.
And yeah, so I think that's something to consider. Like, it just wasn't all that. I think there were nice things about the performance tonight. You know, I thought Ikitau and Sawali, very good centre pairing. And like, I don't think that was ever.
Ikitau's a fucking freak, isn't he? I was watching the semi-final against the Hurricanes, and he's bossing the Hurricanes around. Like, I love him. He was running the fucking game. You know, he's a freak.
So him and I were at the same high school. He was a grade above me, and I remember sitting in the spare once, and he was there. I was in year 11, he was in year 12 in Queensland.
Did you go to school in NZ or here?
Queensland.
Oh, right, okay.
He's from Brisbane.
He's a weight class above you too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like, I remember him, I was sitting there and I was watching Fletcher and Hindy videos on Fox Sports, you know, they're bloody funny. And I could hear Ikitau talking to some of his mates going, yeah, I've just signed with the Brumbies. And having this conversation, and I couldn't tell you exactly what was said other than that, but like, I remember kind of going, geez, this guy, very good centre at the high school level, TPS level in Brisbane, off to the Brumbies, another Queenslander gone to the Brumbies, and he's come up and he's done well. My question though, before we get to Nath, is one test enough for the Wallabies to be adequately prepared for the Lions?
No.
It's not,
because I think if you look, on the drive up here, I listened to the Cohesion podcast with Ben Darwin. No, I'm not going to name them because I don't want traffic. In many ways. Come on. And they said that the thing about the Lions coming out is that they've got all these cohesions. So they've got the Ireland team. Like, so Farrell, who's the coach, could just play the Ireland team. If he's panicking...
I'm with you.
Like, no, sorry.
I know.
This guy made 1 point a long time ago, and we've been jerking him off for 20
I'm not jerking
years.
him off. I think though. No, but when push comes to shove. Yeah, wow.
I checked my phone for a second and suddenly...
You just hear jerking off.
This dude's on this guy's never met before. He's doing a jerking off motion. My right ear. No, but I think there's this big, like, these are all fucking world class, right? You take off the world class Irish front row and you put on the English front row, which is fucking this is all the Lions is about. But then, you know, you've got all these, like, you got that try with Tuipulotu and Jones. No one's stopping that. No. And, you know, that's all that kind of shit. So, and I think that back in the day, you'd just be like, you pick the best players, and then you'd have to come on the boat and then figure out each other's plays, and then you'd be in Australia or New Zealand or South Africa for 3 months trying to figure each other out. And so the thing about the Wallabies having one game, you're like, I still think they're still at the same. Wallabies look like they'd met each other the night before. That's how they played today.
They've been together for 6 months.
Yeah.
Properly.
Yeah. And they've been training together for 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
If that.
And you just kind of think you'd want 2 more games.
It's a greater point of, like, I forgot where I read it. It was on Facebook somewhere, but like, someone made a point of the fact that the Lions, obviously, including the Test, played 9 games. You know, there's 6 warm-up games, 7 if you include the game in Dublin, before they versed the Wallabies. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Maths is wrong. 6 because of the First Nations. It's during the Test series. But anyway, they're getting a lot of head-outs as a team before it's crunch time. Why can't the Wallabies do something like... Why can't... Across the ditch in New Zealand, the Black Ferns, women's rugby, just versed the Black Ferns 15. So effectively, New Zealand versus New Zealand A. Why can't we see that? Why can't the Wallabies versus Australia?
Australia, Tonga or something. Or Maori All Blacks.
No, but like Australia versus Australia, like A backup.
Possible versus probable.
No, and you could take it somewhere cool. I don't know.
Versus the
like
Rebels.
Like that over like the last Australia
game. I always say more to Australia. It's more Australia A fixtures. I love it.
I just don't see how that doesn't hurt. Like now, the Wallabies have a 13-day run into the first test. Great. Plenty of time to prepare. Plenty of time to overthink about what that team might look like. And some of these combos are still being fleshed out. Like, you know, like Harry Potter, and Sawali, that was their first test on Aussie soil.
Way together,
Jorgensen and Potter, I don't think
it was their first test together.
No,
You said on Aussie Sale, was it together?
He literally did the spring tour with his first game. So that's
But him and Potter probably never played together.
No,
Potter didn't go to the spring tour.
Yeah.
he went on the spring tour.
Debuted against Scotland.
Did he play on the spring tour?
Debuted against Scotland. He scored that magical try.
Oh, he did too. Sorry.
No, but like,
If this was glass,
but Sawali only played 20-30 minutes of that because he had his run
Yeah,
of
right. So they played with Bailey.
he runs to Blotto.
But like again, like
I think you're right. Like they should be playing
Yeah, the one that was behind Mitch Inman. Yeah, that's the one.
why can't they
That's on
verse-
English.
Oh, and
France B.
Even
France B. Beat them by 3 points.
no, since France beat her in New Zealand, France should come to Australia. No, but like, I don't know. What about that combined country team we were talking about before? Like, genuinely, like, Troop Shield runs this country.
Just play the Crusaders.
This country.
Play the Crusaders. Why not? That's probably what we can do.
Yeah, we get beat. Nath, what do you think?
Play the Barrett family extended 15.
I can't remember that. Actually, no, I remember the question. Alright, so Brumbies, their front row and tie 5 are getting cooked, in my opinion. Like, because all of them are out. Again, relief is the word from a Australian perspective, and if you're Lions, you are more confident looking at that game. Like, it really is that Waratahs team they threw out a second string side. They can look at it and be like, oh, that was our runs. That's fine. They'll go to a Brumby side that is missing 8 to 9 people and think, oh, this is the best side in Australia, and go out and pump them. And it's like, well, yeah, the reason they're the best side in Australia, and that reflects in the Wallabies setup. Yes. So the reason, I think that's part of it as well, the reason why Waratahs was such a tough task as well is they had a lot of their dudes back. Yes, they were missing Suoliti and Jorgensen, but there was a fair amount of those guys that were regular starters and, quality players in their own right. As compared to Reds who missed a dozen.
Yeah, but these weren't guys who were included in the Wallabies squad necessarily. Like, they had Callaway and Tupou.
Yeah,
That was it.
But like, you look at the
Tupou's not.
The Brumbies are missing.
Tupou on paper is good.
But the Brumbies will miss 10.
He's not been playing his best.
The Brumbies will miss 10. The Force missed 5 or 6 Wallabies. The Reds missed 8 to 9.
That's true.
Probably
Didn't
like
miss any Wallabies.
No, they missed
Zano.
They missed
Williams.
3 or 4.
Yeah, they missed a decent amount.
Decent amount.
No,
Oh, really?
I reckon.
They're also the Force though, so
Yeah.
they had much impact.
I'm
kidding.
Hey, come on, cut it out for Julie T.
I'm kidding.
I genuinely. So here's what I think. I actually think. I mean, do I think the Brumbies are going to repeat 2013? No. But I actually do think that they've got. Unlike most Australian sides who kind of feel like they're trying to reshape their identity every single year, I think that the actual systems that the Brumbies have in place will make it a much more competitive match. Similar to the Waratahs. Similar to the Waratahs. I actually also... I'm not going to mince words. I do actually back a lot of the players that they have. They pick players not because of they don't pick just the best player and go whatever. They pick the best player based on the system that they've already established to say this is how we play. Yeah. That's what they do. So those guys know that system by the back of their hand, and I reckon they'll be taking a similar approach to Lockie McCaffrey. Do I think the Lions will win? I do.
What's your Brumbies 15 look like?
There's not. Do we know any Brumbies that are coming apart from
Tool.
Literally just Tool.
So you go. No, Shoop's fucked his ass.
Shoop's done. He's done for the year.
Van Neck.
Van Neck's not a Wallaby.
It'll be
Isn't that nominative determinism?
There's pretty much
Reimer. Neck, but you're also
it's Reimer, Scott,
Van Neck, and you're playing a prop.
No, if you go...
Van
Okay,
Neck.
so what does that front row, second row, back row look like without
you've got to start... I think Van Neck...
So Van Neck, Nos, Fodawaker.
So you've got Nos Flanagan, you've got a Wallaby hooker.
Deborah Cheney.
We're starting front row. So second row, Lockie Shaw and Caden Neville. 6, 7, 8.
Okay, and we got another Wallaby there.
Tuilima, Scott, Reimer in some kind of order.
2 Wallabies there.
9, 10 is Lonigan and one of Meredith or Debrasini.
I rate him.
Probably Meredith, but Debrasini's a bit of a... I think Debrasini...
I reckon Debrasini. I reckon you start Debrasini more head...
12, 13, fell by
Canberra.
Safford.
Shout out Parliament, shout out
Safford and Fodawaker here are a decent combo. It's just they haven't played a lot together.
11, 14, 15 would be
Tool,
Muirhead
and
maybe Meredith.
you put Merritt at the back. It's actually not too bad.
Shout out Australian telescope.
Now that you've said it,
It's actually not a decent bad. It's not a bad side.
Yeah, but
in saying that,
But if
like,
they're versing a test line side.
yeah,
If
but
they pick a full strength,
But I think they have to. That's always.
they have to.
I think they will because I think they
Shout
have
out
to.
Hume Highway.
calm down. So I mean, I reckon the Brumbies lose by a similar margin to the Waratahs losing.
Well, if it's cold and raining, like I think it's supposed to be.
Brumbies,
Ground's wet. If they wet.
from personal experience,
Ground's
from personal experience, no one knows how. I mean, the Lions probably don't know how fucking hard it is to play in Canberra.
But
Freaking
like,
Lord literally talked about how like the fans didn't even want to come up to Canberra.
But hang on, so they're complaining about a wet ground when you come from Ireland where it rains.
The British Isles where it does
360
nothing
days a
but
year.
rain.
Scotland where it rains 361 days a year. Wales
Where it's
Wales.
Shit.
And England where it gets to 28 degrees and 5 people die an hour. Fuck, you're gonna complain about the weather
honestly,
here.
it's fucking bullshit. Like the whole thing about the teams not releasing the Wallabies, it's all bullshit.
Like, what do you mean?
Like fucking Farrell complaining about the wet grass, complaining
I
about
sense a rabbit hole.
the Wallabies. No, because if you want the Wallabies to go out of camp,
Okay, so you're saying shit that they shouldn't, like that they're expected to be released.
I think I think he's fucking playing around.
Yeah,
He
okay.
doesn't give a shit either way. He's just trying to get the conversation started. Well, he does give a shit because he'd rather the Wallabies not be in camp.
Saying that,
Anyone
the
to put
players
pressure
that
on
haven't
not
have been,
going.
a lot of the players
And
that
then
haven't been released
the
haven't
wet
always been
field shit is all bullshit as well.
So yeah. Anyway,
I mean, you're playing fucking
There's a cyclone that went through there, basically.
and you're playing the Shoot Shield A team. Like that's who you're playing.
All right, Morgan.
So
Anyway.
Shield A team did better than the Reds.
And the Rebels.
Maybe.
for one-
Just maybe Shield might be top.
And the Rebels who folded out of fear.
Anyway, long and short, of it, Brumbies are probably going to lose. I reckon if you're a Wallabies fan, you're like, they've got work to do. They've got a shit ton of work to do. If you're a Lions fan, it doesn't make a difference.
Cool.
To be honest, it
But
doesn't make a
if you're a
difference.
Lions fan, do you want to be friends with them?
Thanks for listening to the pod. Boom.
Yeah, I reckon let's call it right there. I reckon that's honest to God. We're literally here. We're going to go and eat some food, and probably drink a lot more, and have a lovely evening. But next time you hear from us, we'll be in Canberra, recovering from a fucking cold night.
Not me though. Not me though.
Yeah, not you.
Not me.
All right, pod done. Let's go.
We've got another week to get back on the horse and take that horse to the water, and you can ask that horse, you can say, hey horsey, do you want to have a drink or do you want to swim? Yeah, and it's up to that horse to then realise what he wants to do in his life. So we're looking forward to, like I say, getting back on that horse.
And are you looking forward to getting back on the horse 6 months since we last saw you?
I don't like horses, I can't ride.
Give myself an uppercut.
Tonight's episode was brought to you by Good Digby Distillery, uniquely Australian and proud of it. Cheers to supporting local. Visit goodredigby.com.